Hi, everybody. All right, it is Mrs. Camp here, and it is time to tackle another strategy for solving Math Olympiad problems. This strategy is interesting because it's something you do all the time in reading. You ready? Today we're going to talk about drawing a picture or a diagram, the approach of making an image or a diagram to help you figure out what's going on in the problem. So think about when you're reading a book, right? When you're very young, the teacher always says, like, what do you imagine is happening in this story, right? The reason we do that is because it gets you to think about what you're thinking about in the story and the reading and make connections in your mind, right? So it's another layer of brain activity while you're reading to help keep you actively engaged in the reading. And a really good reader is able to read a story and it plays like a movie in their mind. The same goes for math. A lot of experts will say if you can draw it out or draw a diagram, you will be able to figure it out. I often say to my kids in my math class, when in doubt, draw it out, right? And see what that looks like on the paper. Oftentimes that's when those light bulb moments hit. So in order to be ready to do this video, you need something to write with, something to write on. Make sure you have ability to pause your video because I'm going to make you do some work during it. Let's get started. All right, here's the problem. The first problem, it says points A, B, C, and D are on a line. They are not necessarily in that order, though. Point A is between point B and C. Point B is between point A and D. Point D is to the left of point C. Your job is to list them all in order. All right. And so for this one, I think a diagram would be helpful, right? If we can draw this out as a diagram, it would be helpful to figure out what is going on with all these letters, right? There's a lot of letters moving around here and a lot of lines. So let's start with the very first directions they give us. Point A is between point B and C. Well, that's easy. So let's put A right in the middle of our line. Go ahead, draw the line with me. And go ahead, where would you put B and C? I'm putting B on the left and C on the right. Did anyone do it differently? Sure, right? So let's draw a second option here, okay? If you did it my way the first time, you can draw it with me the second time, or if you did it differently, go ahead and copy my first option down. So if A is in the middle, I could have put C on the left and B on the right, right? In both scenarios, A is between both C and D, or C and B, right? All right, so now we're going to add another layer on. So I'm just going to leave those lines where they are and add another layer on. So let's draw another line here. And it says point B is between point A and D. So let's start with B in the middle, and we need to put A and D on either side. Go ahead. There's two ways to do this. See if you can pause the video and come up with both ways, that B would be in the center and D and A would be on either side. Press play when you're done. So in my first one, I went A on the left, D on the right, and then A on the right, D on the left. Okay? Both scenarios meet the requirements that they're telling us, okay? And now to the last one, it says point D is to the left of point C. So now we need to combine what we've done at the top, okay? So in order to do this, we need to draw an even bigger line because we need to mix the rules from the first set of instructions and the second one. So here we go. So now we have, I'm just going to start by putting any letter on. I'm going to start with point B. If you think you could figure this out without my help, go ahead, pause the video and press play when you're done. All right, and so I know that A has to be in between B and C, and I know that B needs to be between D and A, right? So if A's here and D has to be on the other side of B, I'm going to put D there. But now I know that D is to the left of point C. That doesn't mean right to the left, right? Immediately right next to it, but to the left of it. And we know that A needs to be in the middle of B and C, and so C must go there. Did you get it? All right, I think the picture for me made it, like, as soon as I drew the picture, I thought this is so easy, right? Let's move on to the next one. All right, Trini is 1 month older than Billy. Jason is 3 months older than Billy. Kimberly is 4 months older than Jason. How much older than Trini is Kimberly in months? Okay, first read through, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of months, what's going on? How could I figure this out? What model could I draw to help me figure it out? There are a lot of models you could pick. I know in a lot of our math we use bar models, right? And so, or tape diagram type things. And so I'm going to pull from that experience using those to do this problem. This isn't the only way to draw this out. You might come up with a different way. In fact, I encourage you to do so, but let's go through what I did first. So I'm going to say that a box is equal to 1 month, and that's just my key. And at first they tell us about, I noticed that Trini and Jason, their age is a relationship to Billy. So I'm going to make him my starting factor. And notice that his box, I drew it as a teal rectangle, right? And so that's Billy's age because it's not necessarily 1 month old, right? I don't know his age. In fact, I don't need to know any of their ages. We're just comparing in months. So if we know Billy's age, then we can figure out Trini's age. So Trini is Billy's age plus 1 month. From that, we can figure out Jason's. Jason is Billy's age plus 3 months. Kimberly is 4 months older than Jason. So we're going to do Kimberly, right? There's Kimberly. She's the same age as Jason plus 4 months. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. The question is, how much older than Trini is Kimberly in months? So now I'm just counting. Remember my key that I made for myself. Your key might be different, right? You could do it with M's, with stars, right? I choose boxes because it tapped into what I already kind of knew. And now I'm just figuring out. I'm looking at Trini's, and I can see that she stops right here. And so now I need to count Kimberly's months, anything that is longer than Trini's. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kimberly is 6 months older than Trini. How was it? All right. I think you're ready to try some on your own. So go ahead. Make sure you have space on your paper, and let's look at what we've got. Okay. So a firefighter stood on a middle rung of a ladder. He went up 3 rungs, or she, I don't know why I said he. They went up 3 rungs, were forced down 5 rungs, and then went up 7 rungs to extinguish the fire. Why are they going up and down? Not sure. This is one of those math problems. Let's say they needed more water. Okay. Then the firefighter climbed the remaining 6 rungs to the top of the ladder. How many rungs are in the ladder? Okay. They are getting their exercise today. What would you draw? Go ahead. How would you draw this out? Again, when it's what's happening in your brain, there's lots of ways to draw it. But go ahead, give it a shot. I liked this one because it's something we probably can relate to. You can all picture what a ladder looks like and someone climbing it. Pause the video and give it a shot. Press play when you're done and I'll show you what I did. All right, so the first thing I did was draw the ladder in my middle rung. And this is like, the middle rung is my go-to rung here, right? And so they went up 3 rungs. So we went 1, 2, 3 rungs. Then he went down 5. Remember, when you're going down, you don't count the rung you're standing on, right? I'm not going to say I moved once if I haven't moved yet. So I move 1, 2, middle rung is 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm down. Then I go up 7. Remember, I'm not going to count the rung I'm standing on. I'm going to count the rungs that I actually move on. So I go 1, middle rung is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 rungs. And that's where I am now. And then I finally climb the 6 rungs to the top. Okay? I'm not going to draw those in. You can. You might have, right? But for me, a symbol with an arrow and a number 6 is fine. I know what I'm talking about. So now I have all the information the story gave me, but they want to know how many rungs are on the entire ladder. So can we figure out how many are at the top of the ladder? Absolutely, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6. There are 11 on the top. And we know that this is the top. It's split in half. So if there's 11 on the top, there has to be 11 on the bottom. But how many are on the total ladder? Let's not forget that middle rung. We also have the middle rung, so 11 plus 11 is 22, plus that middle one, 23 rungs. Did you get it? Did it help? Did you draw a picture and you were like, aha, this makes sense? So there are a lot more problems we could work on. When you see a problem where it has lots of stages or steps, right? Or there's multiple conditions and you're like, wait, there's so much going on here, right? Like that month one, there was all these different people and all these different types of months, right? It helps to draw it out, okay? Good readers and good mathematicians can figure out what's going on in their head. They can see that fall onto the page from their head. See if you can get the same thing to happen for you when you're faced with a difficult problem. What image is in your head? How are you visualizing it? Put it on your paper to figure it out. If you want more, these are the problems we did today, but there's tons more. I just gave you 4 here from different volumes, but there's a lot more. And there's always the Math Olympiad website, which offers a lot of other skills practice. Great job today.